that the provision of normal healthcare services in the whole country is not adversely affected. Drastic measures had to be taken to contain the spread of this pandemic, including the implementation of the lockdown, which brought economic activities in the whole country to a standstill, thereby impacting on jobs, on sustainable livelihoods for many individuals and families. As government, we have had to implement a raft of economic support and social security interventions to cushion our poor and vulnerable families from the harsh impact of COVID-19. We have had to provide targeted support to struggling businesses and employees who had lost their jobs as a result of COVID-19. While we have made significant strides in containing COVID-19 pandemic, we are saddened as a nation. We've lost many lives as a result of COVID-19. Many families have lost their relatives who have finally succumbed to COVID-19. We have lost frontline workers who died in the duty, paying the ultimate sacrifice while trying to save lives of others from COVID-19. Our country to date has recorded close to 21,000 deaths from COVID-19. Despite this loss of lives, we remain indebted to our healthcare workers and all supporting essential workers for their bravery and committed service on the front line in their fight against this pandemic. We have recorded more than 700 recoveries. This is a testament to their service as frontline workers to our nation. The long journey continues. There's still more work ahead of us. COVID-19 continues to be part of our lives. We should continue to be vigilant and ensure that we continue to adhere to COVID-19 protocols. The reported rising number of infections remains a cause for concern for all of us. We should continue to behave responsibly to save lives and avoid any possible resurgence of COVID-19 infections that may result in further loss of lives. As we deal with the dark cloud of COVID-19, the chilling pain of gender-based violence and femicide cuts very deep into the core foundation of our national consciousness. Our identity as a nation, our humanity, and our collective sense of nationhood. No nation can emerge from the ruins and destructions of its own women and children at the hands of men. The renewal of this nation's soul will lie in our collective commitment to putting an end to gender-based violence and femicide. The whole nation must rise and mobilize every street, every community, every church, every family to join the fight against the murder and violation of women and children by men. Many lives of women and children have been lost as a result of gender-based violence and femicide in our communities. Today we've gathered here to bow our heads and reflect on the new path ahead. We take this moment to commemorate and honor all those who have lost their lives as a result of COVID-19 and gender-based violence and femicide. This twin pandemic of COVID-19 and gender-based violence and femicide continue to engulf our nation on an unprecedented scale. We have had to work together as a nation to fight these pandemics so that we inspire hope and galvanize the nation towards a common vision of unity, cohesion, and a shared prosperity. In order to honor and remember all those who have lost their lives, the President has directed that from today, the 25th of November to the 29th November, the nation should embark on 5 days of mourning, particularly for the victims of COVID-19 and those who have lost their lives through gender-based violence. During this period, the flag will be flown at half-mast throughout the country from 6 a.m. in the morning to 6 p.m. in the evening. We'd also like to call upon all South Africans to wear a black armband or a ribbon or any sign that signifies an act of mourning in order to demonstrate our solemn respect for those who have passed away due to COVID-19 and gender-based violence and femicide. We call on all families, communities, and organizations to set up memorial corners where flowers, lit candles, and any appropriate form of memorialization is observed to remember and honor those who have lost their lives. We will do this not only as a sign of solidarity with all families who lost their loved ones, but to demonstrate our resilience and collective determination to overcome COVID-19 and the ugly face of gender-based violence and femicide. As we share their grief, we call upon all our churches, our mosques, our temples, synagogues, and houses of prayer to hold prayer sessions to support surviving families to cope with the loss of their loved ones. Their loss is our loss as a nation. Even in such moments of sorrow and hardship, we are a nation that has time and again risen from all forms of adversity. As we mourn, we are reminded of our collective obligation to make a difference in every way we can in our various leadership roles in society. Our response to gender-based violence and femicide must be emphatic and uncompromising. It is a commitment of government, civil society formations, and all other social partners to work together towards a sustained program of action to curb gender-based violence and femicide. As part of this comprehensive program, today marks the official commencement of our 16 Days of Activism for No Violence Against Women and Children campaign, which is hosted nationwide under the theme Women's Economic Justice for a Non-Violent and Non-Sexist South Africa. This is a focused program to mobilize society as a whole to join and implement practical programs aimed at fighting gender-based violence and femicide. The 16 Days of Activism campaign should be about concrete and tangible progress to end of violence against women and children. It should never be just simple and annual ritual in our calendar of events. In a democratic and a human rights-centered country like ours, patriarchy cannot be used as a cultural basis for the oppression of women. Women can no longer live in servitude to men that have disregard for their lives and for their freedoms. Therefore, we call on all our communities to condemn any acts of gender-based violence and femicide, and where such acts manifest themselves, they should be reported to the nearest police station. Together we must build a society that places an enormous amount of its resources to the protection and development of women, to their well-being, and their due recognition as leaders of our nation in all facets of human endeavors. As society, we must collectively rally behind all national efforts and programs to empower, protect, and promote the advancement and development of women and girl children. All sectors of society must promote the campaign on 16 days of no violence against women and children. On this day, we call for the unity of purpose and commitment in tackling the fight against the twin pandemics of COVID-19 and gender-based violence and femicide. We are certain that if we work together as a nation to repair the social fabric of our society, victory is guaranteed. We can eradicate all these social ills and together build a nation that is stronger and united. I thank you. Thank you.